Hey folks, this is Chuck from the Brownie Camera page, and today I want to talk a little bit about the Brownie Hawkeye Camera flash model. Now I've got two cameras here, and one is a flash model and one is not, even though they look exactly the same. Also, before I get started, if you've come to this video because your camera says Kodak Hawkeye or Hawkeye, and it doesn't look like one of these, then look below. I'll leave a link for the page that contains all of the Kodak Hawkeye cameras, which um, Kodak themselves made about 78 different Hawkeye models. But this is the incredibly popular Brownie Hawkeye camera flash model. And when most people talk about a Brownie Hawkeye, they're talking about this camera. Now, these two cameras look the exact same, but there is a uh, uh, principal difference. And one way to find out is if you can, let's see, if you can read that. One says Brownie Hawkeye camera flash model, which is this one. And one says Brownie Hawkeye camera, which is this one. The difference between this, besides the winding knob, which is not that important, that's a way of telling age, is this right here. This is the flash model, and it has the ability to accept what's called a pin and screw flash attachment. So let's stay concentrated on the flash model, and we'll put this beautiful camera to the side. So we'll go into the flash attachment in a minute. This is a extremely simple camera. This flash models were produced basically between 1950 and 1961. Very simple meniscus lens. There's no control over the f-stop. And they're a workhorse camera. That's what made these literally one of the most popular cameras, film cameras, ever made in the history of photography. And even today on eBay, this is one of the most traded and sold film cameras still available. So it's a very simple lens. The only really special feature on this is if you lift up on that, and if I can show you, you can do time exposures. But because there is no screw attachment on the bottom for a tripod of any kind, if you want a sharp picture while doing a bulb or a time exposure, you've got to lay the camera down and take the image like so and count it out. Now the pin and screw attachments was a real great innovation by Kodak, and they came out with I think dozens of different flash attachments. Here's just two. Very simple to use. It sticks right in. You screw it on like so. These took their own batteries, which leaked, of course, very much. Because these are batteries from the 50s. And if any of you are that old and remember what batteries were like, every one of them just leaked after a day or whatever. This one is a particularly small flash, and I think this took like a number 5 flash bulb. So there's one example. This would have been for a portrait or something like that. Then when you unscrew it, then you could, there was attachments like this one, which may not even fit into the screen. This would have been, this is one that you see a lot that come with these cameras. This one might have been really good for portrait shoots and whatever. it would have had a big light spread on it. And so these cameras were very versatile. Took big negatives, nice big what's called 6x6 centimeter or 2¼ by 2¼ same size as say a Hasselblad or Brownie cameras or any medium format camera. Also, I thought it might have been fun to show you that you could buy these cameras, just the camera in a box, or you could buy an outfit, and I thought you might enjoy seeing this one. This was an outfit that was given to me. It still has some writing on it from the person who got this actually in 1950. And this is a particularly nice one. Let's see if I can move my camera a little bit. This is an absolute complete, right down to the batteries. Came with 2 rolls of 620 film. Enough flash bulbs for a roll of film and a misfire. The camera, even this even had a cover for the flash bulb in case the bulb itself broke. And I thought you would enjoy seeing that. That's a particularly nice example of a complete outfit that was available. And so this camera I just got about 2 weeks ago. I have a bunch of these cameras. I enjoy using them, and I've taken this one apart, and I don't know if you can see, I've really cleaned out the viewfinder and made sure the shutter was working really well, and that the lens was nice and clean. And so I'm going to load this up, and I'm going to put this into my camera arsenal for this week. So to open it, you move that forward, you pull it apart, and there's the inside. Now, before I load this with film, this was the original one that was screwed into this body. So I know that this, I'm basically 99% sure that all of this is original, but I don't know when this was made. And so I won't go into a complete way of telling manufacture dates for all cameras. But for this one, you know what I'll do is I'll also leave a link below about figuring out manufacturing dates. But on this one, you'll see right here, see if you can see that, there's the letters Y, M, R, M. Now I've written that down, and I've written it down on this piece of paper before. And what you can do is, that's a way of telling manufacturing date for this particular camera. Now, not all Brownie cameras have that. And again, look below for the page to figure out the manufacturer dates. There are different ways. But that is a code that corresponds to what is called camerosity, which I've printed out. And so the code for this was YMRM. Y equals 0. M equals 3. So it's 03. That means it was made in March, the month of March. R is 5. R is 5. And M is 3. So it is March of 1953 was when this camera was manufactured. All Brownie, I would say 99 to 99% of all Brownie cameras have that designation. Now, I'm going to wind this with some respooled 620. However, many people will argue that you can use 120 in these cameras. And in fact, in many of these cameras you can, not all. And the way to do that is you can use a fingernail file or a fingernail clipper, and you can clip off the edges here and you can sand the ends and this and that. But quite frankly, I find it easier myself to re-spool 120 film onto 620 spools, and these I like to use the film that was designed for the camera because 120 will sometimes jam, and I don't want to take a chance with my film. So that's for another discussion. So here is a roll of 620 that I rolled a couple of weeks ago. It's been in my deep freeze. This is also T-Max 400. With Brownie cameras, with these types of Brownie cameras, this type of Brownie Hawkeye camera, I found that starting at 400 usually works for me. I also need a take-up spool, which is a 120. So I'll grab one of my spools, my empty 120 spools, and I will put the empty spool. Let's see if you can see that. Into right in there. Can you guys see that? Right in there. And I'm going to get the slot so that it's ready to go. Next, I'm going to take my 120. I mean my spool of 620 film. Now it's 620. And I'm going to put that on the other end. Paper always away from shutter. Black always towards the shutter because this is the side that the film is going to eventually come. And I am going to bring it around. There's plenty of leader, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I'll put the leader into the slot like so. Let's see if I can. Sorry, guys. The old eyes don't see the way they used to. Jeez, it's not wanting to go in. That's because okay, hold on. Let's get that lined up a little bit better. Always technical difficulties, huh? Okay, and that is in. Now wind that on until I see that the film is moving, like so. There's only one way to close it up. Make sure that it is locked in place. Then we, as usual, roll it counterclockwise. And you have to actually roll it quite a ways. It rolls nice and easy. Now I'm starting to see start indications. I keep rolling. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. And I should see an arrow. There's the arrow. There's the arrow. That means you're getting close. And go nice and slow. There's the number 1. And this camera is ready to go. Now, because the shutter is not cocked every time, what I usually do is I roll, and then I know the camera is ready to shoot. So I shoot, I roll, and I know that I just have to pick the camera up and shoot. That way I don't double expose a picture. And so there you have it. There's the Brownie Hawkeye flash model. And I'm going to shoot it without a flash this time. I'm just going to go out and shoot this roll of film, and I'll process it on Friday. I'll probably shoot with this tomorrow. And that's it. So check out the links below if you need to about the manufacture date and how to determine a manufacture date, and also about the other Hawkeye cameras if this does not look like your Hawkeye. And I'll talk to you guys later. So load up your camera, go out, and have